I'm willing to believe that like Shapiro is a true believer in what he's saying, and like that's why he's able to be so good at just like staying on message all the time, because he genuinely believes this. But the thing is that the people who support him, not the followers, not the fans, but like the economic entities, the conservative overlords that help carry his career forward when he's not willing to connect with his fellow students. Those people understand that Shapiro's role in society is to basically hide or pretend like capitalism and the economic system that we live in doesn't exist, that there is no economy, there is no society, it's just a bunch of individuals, and some people make better choices than others, and if you make bad decisions, well, that's on you, and you should have made better decisions. Class is completely erased, or when they use the word class, it becomes like a cultural term. It means the kinds of products you like to buy, or if you're like a classy person or something. But for the most part, like capitalism, the actual social system with actual real abstract but real dynamics that govern our lives is washed away in all of Shapiro's world. And that's whether or not he knows he's doing that, that's his function for the right. It's to help obscure what's actually driving people's lives.
Well, I think that it's hard, if for what you're talking about, Cale, like there's like that what you just defined as the right. And then there's like the right. There's all these different versions of the right. But what you just, I think everything that you said is true. Everything that you just said is true. But there's a certain segment of the right that uses him for that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then there's not going to be like all of the segments of the right that will use him for that.
I mean, to be fair, though, if he went to college at the same time as Pete Buttigieg and the Facebook guy, I'd be sitting in the corner too, reading a book, not wanting to socialize with those creeps either. So, I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So when we were talking about this earlier today, Cale said, "Well, I want to warn you, Ben. I'm not a Ben Shapiro scholar, so I'm not. I don't know how much I could, contribute here." And then my first reaction was to laugh at the combination of words Ben Shapiro scholar. Then my second reaction was to feel a little bit of shame that I sort of am. That like I actually have spent a lot of time thinking and writing about this dude, and that's obviously something that's gone horribly wrong in my life for that to be the case.
Wow.
But but misery loves company, and I want to make out all of you Ben Shapiro scholars in the next 5 minutes. So this, you really want to dig deep into him. What should you look at? You should look at the materials that he's prepared to instruct students at his university, and wouldn't you know it, there's a Ben Shapiro PragerU video.
Oh boy. Inject me, baby. Let's hear it.
Vanderbilt University, November 2015. 200 students rise up to protest the white privilege and microaggressions of the racist, bigoted Vanderbilt administration. The protesters don't offer any specific examples of discrimination, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that they feel victimized. The next day, a bag of dog poop shows up at the front door of the university's Black Cultural Center. All hell breaks loose. Full of righteous indignation, student activist groups rush to Facebook to denounce the racist act. The police investigate. They quickly find the person responsible, but nobody is arrested. You know why? Because it turns out that the bag of excrement wasn't a racist attack. It was left by a blind girl with a service dog. She couldn't find a trash can, so, wanting to do the responsible thing, she left the bag outside the door of a nearby building, knowing a janitor would pick it up and throw it away. The student group did apologize, but then they added another charge against the administration. The needs of students with disabilities on this campus are also marginalized. Seriously, this is not a joke. On the college campus today, feelings rule facts and victims are heroes. According to the left, all inequality in America is due to victimization. They start by claiming that all non-white people in America are victims of white privilege. Then come women. They're all victims of the patriarchy. Then come gays and lesbians and the transgendered. They're all victims of our heteronormative and homophobic society. But what if you haven't been victimized by anybody? That doesn't matter. To the left, so long as you feel victimized, you're a victim. Even if you have never actually experienced discrimination, you've surely been targeted by microaggressions. You know, nasty little words and phrases that weren't meant to be insults, but just are. If somebody asks you, where are you from? That's considered a xenophobic microaggression. They're implying that you are a foreigner. If a man holds open a door for a woman, which, by the way, you're supposed to do, that's a sexist microaggression because he's treating her like she's a helpless female. Of course, he's also treating her like she's a woman. But how would he know? And heaven forbid anybody address you by your biologically accurate pronoun. What if she identifies as a man? In short, everyone's a victim, except, of course,
I really like the phrase biologically accurate
anybody who dares to
pronouns.
disagree with the left.
Yeah, wait. Pause.
If you're
Pause
guilty of either of those crimes, you must be confronted.
Okay, it's like it's hard. I'm like, I have a point.
I
do
want to. There's going to be a lot to say about this. I just wanted to interject for a second to say I love the phrase biologically accurate pronoun, like that. Like pronoun use is a feature of biology.
God, you know, we gotta interject with some G.A. Cohen on Ben Shapiro's ass. Teach him the difference between material and social.
Yeah. So there's a lot to there is a lot to say about this, but I'm worried that we only have half the lesson here.
Okay, sorry. Let's keep going.
Confronted, even if doing so requires actual aggression, like say a riot. Here's a trick the left plays to justify their violence. First, they say it's okay to punch Nazis. Then they say that every conservative, in fact, everybody they disagree with, is a Nazi.
What?
But here's the biggest problem with the left's argument. They're based on feelings, not facts. Take white privilege.
Okay, stop.
The only
stop.
real privilege
Can we
in
just
America.
stop it for a second? All right, hold on. Was this when he how do you call it? Pinned his tweet? Did he do this after making this dumb?
That might be for people who aren't sure what she's talking about. Ben Shapiro's pinned tweet for years has been faxed over.
None of the things, and I can speak for myself only, as you know. Well, no, I can speak for other people. I guess is what you don't need to. There don't need to be microaggressions involved in this stuff. I mean, if there is white privilege, you can tangibly, you can, chart it out by, do black people, are black people less likely to get as good a job as a white person? Are Asian Americans less likely to get as good? It turns out Asian Americans are less likely to rise above middle management than white people. I mean, these are tangible things. Like it's not microaggressions that we're worried about. I don't care about microaggressions. I want to make more than 76 cents on the dollar compared to Cale, because frankly, I deserve twice what Cale makes. I'm just kidding.
Look,
you're not
we
wrong.
have a policy at TTAA. I mean, I pay Kelly, 70 cents, the dollar, what Cale and Andy make. I mean, that's just, you don't like it, go work somewhere else.
These aren't my feelings. Like he's insisting on making it about feelings when it is in fact about facts. Like the complaints of the left are predominantly about facts. You want to do the college campus thing? Great. Do the college campus thing. But the other stuff is rooted in a lot more than that. And it doesn't.
For sure, right? Like so he's doing the typical Ben Shapiro thing, or the typical lots of these guys thing, which is that can you find examples of college students, some activists in colleges being crazy? Yeah, of course you can, right? I mean, that's
I will go out with every single dude that I know, and that would be a horrifying experience, I can tell you right now, and have them slam the door on my face, forget my name, and then make me pay if I could get, dudes to listen to me in the workplace and, pay equity for the rest of my life.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that would be feelings. That would be facts caring about my feelings, because that would be horrible feelings.
Well, and again, the whole point is that like Shapiro's like facts versus feelings means that there's no room for society in this. That there is no society. There's only feelings that are hurt, and you should, adjust your feelings to the raw reality of what you have to do, as an individual to get by. But it doesn't. There's no sense of, well, what if the society you're in inhibits your ability to do something, or what if it limits the choices you have as an individual to that you don't have good choices, or that you don't have the resources to be able to make a better choice. None of that is a part of this. It's just
so that's
you're telling me.
He has he did this so after he does his using find some crazy college kids to use as a prop to set the whole thing up, he says that the left says that inequality only comes from whatever he said, discrimination or oppression or some word like that, right? And they're whatever, the thing that's left out of this is, okay, Ben, so if that's wrong, right, where do these inequalities come from, right? I mean, those objective disparities that Kelly is talking about, the gender pay gap, or the disparities between white people and black people, and poverty and incarceration and education and healthcare, and pretty much everything else, what's his view of where they come from, and that's just kind of left hanging, right? Because he doesn't really want to get into that, and I do want to. Once we're done, I do want to go back to the facts and feelings. By the way, just Antonio, thank you so much for the super chat. He asked, "Are we going to cover the Neil interview, Neil deGrasse Tyson?" Yes, we are. When Nathan is here, but first, if it's not going to depress anybody too much, I do want to just finish up here.
American privilege. Everybody in America has it. More than citizens of any other country in the world. The privilege to make your own decisions and live the life you choose. According to the liberal Brookings Institution, if you make just these 3 decisions, you'll do fine. And with drive and ambition, you'll probably do better than fine. First, finish high school. Second, don't have babies before you're married. Third, hold down a job. If you do these 3 things, you'll be on your way to the privilege of middle-class life, regardless of race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or gender. Also, there's no patriarchy. Women already make up the majority of college graduates. According to Time magazine, young single women without kids already earn more than their male counterparts. Oh, and gay and lesbian couples, they earn more than their straight counterparts too. These are facts, and facts don't care about your feelings. Neither will your employer if you get a job after you leave school. The moment you graduate, reality is going to hit you like a truck. People who give you a paycheck expect you to produce. They expect you to work hard. And all the claims of victimhood, all the whining, well, nobody cares. So stop worrying so much about your feelings and start worrying a little more about being a good person, doing your best, and not getting in your own way. If you don't, the only thing you'll be a victim of is yourself. I'm Ben Shapiro, editor of the Daily Wire for Prager University.
Thanks, Ben. That was great. I'm so glad we watched that.
I feel like a victim of Ben Shapiro now.
Yeah, fair enough. Just so real quick before it gets lost. Okay, so Daniel, thank you for the super chat. Says facts, feelings is inherently false dichotomy. Yes, I want to get into that exact point in just a minute, but first I can't let that last part go by without saying that what he's talking about there, this is something that a lot of conservatives love, the success sequence, which is the idea that we have this statistical information that shows that if you do these 3 or 4 things, that the list vary, you don't have any kids until later, and you have, or you get married, and and you hold down a steady job, etc., then you'll be then you won't be living in poverty. And Matt Brunig has done good stuff on this, basically showing that if you dig into the statistics, everything else is misleading. I mean, the only part of this that's actually relevant is the having a job, basically. I mean, that's the everything else, because you say, once you're looking at the stats, you say, oh, if you have a job and also X, Y, and Z, right? Are you going to be above a certain economic threshold? Yeah, sure you are. But everything else is just kind of like throwing in statistical noise to try to justify the socially conservative stuff that they want.
Yeah, and it just like, it also means, I mean, like, it just, even like the most generous reading of what, you know, Shapiro is saying, of like, if you just have these three things, the fact that people don't execute those in the way that he's describing it just means that, you know, poor people are stupid, or, you know, it's this whole like, you know, you have the wrong behavior, the wrong attitude, that it's inherently something wrong with your, you know, the way you understand the world, like the information you have in your head, you know. And so if obviously, yeah, like people do have tons of mental health issues, you know, if only there was, you know, enough, you know, resources put into healthcare so that everyone could have a therapist. What if it was therapists for all? What if like the therapists were paid for by a single payer system where everyone was guaranteed that they have healthcare when they need it, so they don't, that, you know, mental health issues don't become hindrances on their ability to be an individual in society. Like, you know, I just, before I kind of finish my little spiel, I just want to share the great Jeremy Corbyn meme that people are not prepared any longer to live in a society. Now, that's like, this is like like just being on the left right now in the Bernie Corbyn era, and like in kind of now in the post Bernie Corbyn era, it's like so much of what our politics comes down to is just saying like, wow, wouldn't it be great if we like lived in a real society? Like, what if like we acknowledge the actual social systems and institutions that do in fact determine people's outcomes in life? That your ability to make it in life is not dependent on, you know, the birth lottery, and that we actually did things to adjust society so that people had better outcomes. Wouldn't that be something? But obviously that doesn't really fit into the Shapiro worldview because it's not supposed to.